Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Working No Game video. Today's video is dedicated to what to do in a losing scenario. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to enter the 5K giveaway. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you have been in the situation where you're pretty much losing and you have no idea what to do. So the one thing that you have control of when you are essentially losing a fight is you can summon nightmares. Now, the thing is this isn't a foolproof strategy. And I know what it feels like to jump out of, a ship and just to get shipped within 2 shots. So I've been there. I understand the pain, and it's not really the funnest thing. So let's talk about some things to alleviate that. One of the first things that you gotta do is, use buffing nightmares in the beginning. Now, of course, it doesn't really do anything, but the thing is this will at least keep you in the fight long enough. Because ideally, you don't get instantly down within the first 2 or 3 minutes of the fight, alright? Now, there isn't a particular order for the rest of the nightmares, because this is based off of personal preference. But I'll give you my personal, nightmare order and how I think you should, tackle a losing situation. So pretty much the first half is, taking what life force that you can get and gauging the enemy and seeing like how strong they are. Obviously, if they're really powerful, you're just gonna get like 2-shot, right? Now, the next thing is going to be your call of support nightmares will probably be the ones that you're going to be looking at. Now, you can use Blue Poppy, or you can just go for the straight defeatist route where you summon Gnawing. Now, the thing is some of you might be arguing you can use Gnawing later. The thing is that by the time like later happens, they're already killing you, so it doesn't matter. Your goal is to survive as long as possible. So that's why I would, suggest using Cecilia and like Library or Mealhead or whichever buffing nightmares you choose to use in the beginning, so you can get some hits in, and then you use Gnawing so you can essentially debuff their DC2s and all their heal procs and support boons, so you can live a little bit longer. You can also use Blue Poppy, but honestly you can use these whenever you want, right? Now, weapon effectiveness. You could also technically use this right after buffing nightmares, because after buffing nightmares you have pretty much a time period where it's like, okay, the enemy is just powering up, they're getting ready for first demon, yada yada yada. Obviously, if they're stronger than you, they're probably going to ship you during first demon, so you can do one of 2 things. You can either, use an elemental nightmare, or you can use, Blue Poppy or something to pretty much deal more damage. But honestly, I'm not even gonna look at that. I'm just gonna look at weapon effectiveness, and I'm gonna do what I can to survive. So you can do one of 2 things. You can either use Diablos or Blanc or Cake Spider if you, manage to get your hands on him, just so you can debuff their ability to debuff or buff. Because it doesn't really matter whether you win first demon, because they're so powerful you can't win it. So this is a scenario where you cannot win first demon whatsoever. Because first demon, you should honestly be using like some sort of elemental nightmare, because you can overpower them in some way. This is a situation where you just cannot overpower them, so I'm going to use these weapon effective nightmares, alright? Next thing is going to be, let's say you're mid-fight and you're pretty much just being constantly down. You can use elemental nightmares to pretty much squeeze things here and there. Ideally, you're using debuffing nightmares right before or right around like the 12-minute mark. And the reason why I'm saying this, and of course, as people know this, they'll be like, haha, I know the timing, blah, blah, blah. That's just because debuffing nightmares will be your only guidance to be able to last in Ogre. Why is that? Because you want it so that you can at least survive the hits, survive, deal attacks while Ogre is happening. You don't use debuffing nightmares in the beginning. You don't. As a losing strat, you just don't. Because these guys will do immense debuffs on the enemy team when they're at plus 20 or plus 15 or whatever they're at, right? Just because their stats are insanely high, and they will have, a debuff attenuation, a buff attenuation sort of deal going on. So these guys will be more effective. Obviously, they can switch out and completely ignore these debuffing nightmares, but usually teams don't care about getting debuffs in the middle of the fight, because they're just going to one-shot you anyways. And no offense, they will one-shot you. These will probably not be as effective. But the thing is you want to be annoying as possible right after second demon. So this falls on to pretty much the ultimate tactic, which everyone knows how to do, and is you cast Ogre. Like, that's what you do in a losing scenario. You cast Ogre, or you Mao, Archelon, or whatever, the turtle dude, right at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, or right after second demon. It doesn't matter when you do it. 3 minutes and 30 seconds is ideal, so pretty much this is the last nightmare your team sees and the enemy team sees. There might be like a 30-second differential, but it's fine. Within those 30 seconds you can get downed or you stay alive, whichever. It doesn't really matter. The point is you used Ogre, and this is your moment to get at least one ship. All right, get one ship, get some life force, do something. All right, because your entire nightmare setup was just to get to this point in particular where you can get that one ship. That is the goal of this defeat nightmare strat, is to get the one ship. It doesn't matter if you're buffed, it doesn't matter if you have, you know, freeze golem or whatever. That, like, opponents are going to kill you when they overpower you. This is the one nightmare that gives you somewhat of a chance to do something. I know some people hate Ogre, but my god, if this thing didn't exist, I don't know if I could even play Colo, alright? Because it's just a tough time to not have like some sort of light, and this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Alright, so you already know about like the nightmares that you should be using, or the suggested nightmares. You don't have to use it in this order. I'm just saying, you know, do buff, do Colo support, do weapon effectiveness, and then time debuffing nightmares right before Ogre. You don't have to do it that way, because like there's so many ways to do nightmares. My only thing is use Ogre at 3 minutes 30 seconds. That way you maximize his abilities. Next is going to be class priority. And everyone already knows about class priority, but the thing is I'm just going to give some advice. So as a Vanguard, pretty much right before Ogre, you're going to have some lifesteal weapons, alright? This is just so you can stay alive before Ogre gets casted. Or you can do the thing where pretty much you die right before Ogre is at like around 45 seconds from casting. Feel free to correct comments down below. Pretty much you want to be downed at 45 seconds before Ogre summons, so you can have that invincibility time right when Ogre pops, so you can, you know, deal some damage, you're invincible, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So your goal is to bring lifesteal, obviously AoE, so you can deal actual damage and all that. But, you know, staying alive during Ogre is just as important. Now, probably for rear guard, this is like the most quintessential thing, because your rear guards are pretty much going to rule the flow of this fight. Like, seriously, if your opponent is so strong that you cannot debuff them, they are still going to be the rulers of this fight. That's just because of buff attenuation and debuff attenuation. By that I mean, you know, that fancy chart that you see, which pretty much all the images where it's like, after a certain point, buffing and debuffing will get really hard, right? So if you are a minstrel, your goal will be to essentially buff their defense or buff their attack, keep it at +5. You know, I know that's really hard to ask when the enemy team is like really crazy strong. Everyone's getting killed. 1-for-1 is like person at the top, #1 position, will be attacking laterally on the person that's lateral of them. So 1 and 1 attack, 2 and 2 attack, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 4 and 5 and 5. Alright, so orcs are probably the most important people. You know, keep the opponent's attack low. Defense doesn't really matter until Ogre time, just because, like, you know, all you want to do is survive. So attack debuffs all the way, and then defense debuffs right when Ogre pops. Alright, and then, you know, orbs go burr. And that's pretty much it for, you know, a defeat scenario. I just wanted to provide something because I feel like it's really hard and demoralizing to fight a fight where you know you're going to lose it. And to have some sort of ideas, to have some sort of plan is my goal here. And I'm not saying this is foolproof. It's not going to get you a win, obviously. It's just to get you enough life force and to get that last hit in to at least get one ship in. Anyways, that's it for today's video. There's not much going on in the sense of, you know, new stuff. There's definitely so much stuff going on because, you know, we have Active Reality, we have Grand Colo coming up real soon, Twilight Illusionist, Fantastic Thing, you know, all these different events going on. I like it quite a bit. I can't participate in all of them, but for the most part, I enjoy where SINoALICE is going. I believe we're going to have a podcast today with Demic and the team, but, you know, we'll see. Fort Misery and Tachi. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, enter the giveaway, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. I will see you in the next one.